The wind howled across the Rocky Mountains, slicing through the trees like a cold whisper from the past. Deep beneath the surface, hidden from the world, a secret lab sat in silence. It was not marked on any map. No satellites could see it. Only a few people knew it existed. Inside, Dr. Jason Bennett stared at the screen in front of him. His eyes were tired, but his mind raced. Beside him stood Claire Porter, a geneticist with sharp focus and quiet strength. They had been working nonstop, for days, trying to understand what they had found. "This can't be real," Claire said, her voice low. "It has to be," Jason replied. "We've checked it 5 times. On the screen was a strange sequence of DNA code. It looked normal at first glance, but when zoomed in, something odd appeared. The pattern was too perfect. It didn't look random like normal DNA. It looked designed. "This isn't just junk DNA," Claire whispered. "It's a message." Jason nodded slowly. He had thought the same thing for hours now. Buried deep inside human DNA, past the parts that built muscles, eyes, and brains, was a long stretch of unused code. Scientists used to call it junk because it didn't seem to do anything. But now, they weren't so sure. What they had found was a complex structure. It wasn't like any known gene, it was more like a set of instructions or maybe even a blueprint. "What if this isn't just human?" Claire asked. Jason looked at her. He had tried not to say it out loud, but she had said it first. "You think someone or something put this here?" Claire didn't answer right away. She just kept looking at the screen. Then she turned to the other scientist in the room, Ryan Fuller, a former military analyst who had joined their team after leaving the Army. "Ryan," she said, "you've seen classified files. Have you ever heard of anything like this?" Ryan shook his head. "No, but I know one thing. If anyone finds out about this, it will change everything." Thutterer, the project 3 weeks earlier, the work had started as part of a government-funded research program. The goal was simple: find ways to improve human health by studying ancient DNA samples. Jason and Claire had been given access to old data collected from thousands of human genomes. Some came from modern people. Others came from ancient bones found in caves and ice. They had been searching for genetic links to disease resistance, hoping to find patterns that could help cure cancer or prevent viruses. Instead, they found something else. At first, it was just a glitch, a strange signal in the data, a repeating pattern in the DNA of nearly every human tested. At first, they thought it was an error, maybe a corrupted file or a mistake in the software. But it wasn't. After running dozens of tests, they confirmed it was real. The pattern showed up in all humans regardless of race, gender, or age. It was silent, never active, but always there. "It's like a virus that never infects," Claire had said during one meeting. "Or like a sleeper agent," Ryan added. Jason had laughed nervously. "Let's hope it doesn't wake up." Now, 3 weeks later, they were beginning to wonder if it already had. The leak. Not everyone in the lab knew what they had found. Jason, Claire, and Ryan had kept it quiet, but secrets don't stay buried forever. One night, Jason met with an old friend, Elliot Grant, a journalist who had once covered science stories before being blacklisted for exposing a military cover-up. They met in a small bar outside Denver, far from prying eyes. "I need to show you something," Jason said, sliding a flash drive across the table. Elliot raised an eyebrow. "This better not get me arrested again." "Just read it," Jason said. Later that night, Elliot opened the files. What he saw made his hands shake. Buried in human DNA was a coded sequence unlike anything ever recorded. It was mathematical, precise, artificial. He called Jason the next morning. "You're telling me someone put this in us?" "Someone or something," Jason said. "This changes everything." "I know. You realize what happens if the wrong people find this?" Jason did. And he was afraid. The Watchers 2 days later, Jason noticed a new security badge in the lab. A man named Greg Lawson had arrived. He didn't wear a lab coat. He wore a suit. He didn't ask questions. He watched. Claire noticed too. He's not one of us, she told Jason. I know. He's from somewhere else. CIA? Pentagon? Maybe worse. That night, they packed a copy of the data onto a secure drive and hid it in a false bottom of Claire's desk. They didn't trust anyone anymore. Isaac Garcia, meanwhile, halfway across the world, Isaac Garcia was waking up in a hospital bed in Germany. He didn't remember how he got there. Last thing he remembered was a mission gone bad. He had been part of a Marine unit sent into Syria to extract a high-value target. The mission failed. His team was captured. He was presumed dead. But he wasn't. He had survived. Barely. As he sat up, he felt different. Stronger. Faster. His body healed quickly. Doctors couldn't explain it. They ran tests. They took blood. They scanned his brain. Nothing seemed wrong. In fact, he was healthier than most soldiers his age. Isaac didn't know it yet. But something had changed inside him. Something deep. In his DNA, something had awakened. The storm begins. Back in Colorado, Jason and Claire were summoned to a closed-door meeting with two men in suits. They didn't give names, they didn't smile. We know what you found, one said. Jason stayed calm. Then you know it's important. Important enough to cause a war, the other man said. Claire glanced at Jason. She knew what was coming. Turn over your research, the man continued, and forget what you found. Jason didn't move. What happens if we refuse? The man smiled. It wasn't friendly. Then you'll disappear. After they left, Jason locked the door. We have to go, Claire said. I know, he replied. Tonight. Isaac returns weeks passed. Jason and Claire went off the grid. They moved between safe houses, hiding the data wherever they could. Ryan helped them from the shadows, feeding them information and helping them escape government agents. In that time, Isaac returned to the United States. He tried to live a normal life, but he couldn't stop thinking about what had happened to him. He trained harder, fought harder, dreamed of battlefields he had never seen. He began to hear whispers, rumors of something big happening in the world of genetics, of a secret buried in human DNA. He didn't know it yet, but his journey was just beginning. The Truth Spread. Elliot Grant published his article anonymously online. It spread fast. Within days, it was everywhere. People talked about it in cafes, schools, and bars. Scientists discover alien code in human DNA. Some called it fake news. Others called it the greatest discovery of the century. But one group paid close attention. Military leaders, private companies, foreign agents. They all wanted the same thing: control over what had been found. The awakening in secret labs. Around the world, experiments began. Governments tried to activate the hidden DNA sequences. They tested on volunteers, prisoners, even children. Some died. Others changed. Their bodies grew stronger. Their minds became sharper. Some could heal wounds in minutes. Others could run faster than cars. They were no longer normal humans. They were something new, and the world was not ready for them. The end of Part 1. Dr. Jason Bennett stood at the edge of a cliff, looking down at a hidden valley where their next safe house waited. Claire was beside him. Behind them, the world was changing. They had opened a door they could never close. Somewhere out there, Isaac Garcia was preparing for war. And in the dark corners of the world, others were waking up too. Humans had been given a gift or a curse. Either way, the future would never be the same. Isaac Garcia stood in front of a cracked mirror in a small apartment outside Phoenix, Arizona. His body was lean but solid, stronger than before. He could lift more weight, run faster, think clearer. Sometimes he would wake up with memories that didn't belong to him, flashes of war, voices speaking in languages he had never learned. He didn't know what had happened to him in Syria. All he knew was that he had died and come back. The doctor said it was a miracle. Isaac wasn't so sure. Strange dreams. One night, Isaac dreamed of fire, of soldiers fighting in a city that looked like New York but wasn't. The sky burned red. People ran. Explosions echoed through the streets. And in the middle of it all, he stood tall, arms raised, eyes glowing, power flowing through him like a river. He woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. Next to him, his dog barked nervously. He got up slowly and walked to the window. The desert stretched far beyond the edge of town. Quiet, peaceful. But something inside him felt wrong. Restless. The call 2 days later, Isaac received a message on an old phone. No name, just a number and a time. He stared at it for a long time before calling. "You're awake," said a voice on the other end. Isaac's grip tightened around the phone. "Who is this?" "We need to talk. Come to Denver, don't tell anyone." Before Isaac could ask more, the line went dead. Kurt's on the move. Claire Porter and Jason Bennett were hiding again. They had left Colorado weeks ago and moved to Denver under fake names. Every day they heard more news about what was happening across the world. Governments were experimenting, trying to activate the hidden DNA sequences in humans. Some called it progress. Others called it madness. They had seen reports of test subjects dying, of others waking up changed, stronger, smarter, faster, and now they had found one who had survived. Isaac Garcia. Meeting Isaac. A quiet diner off the highway, Claire and Jason waited. Isaac walked in 10 minutes late. He wore a jacket and kept his head low. He spotted them and sat down without saying hello. "I'm Claire," she said first. "This is Jason." Isaac nodded. "You called me." "We've been looking for you," Jason said. "Why?" "Because you're not normal," Claire said bluntly. Isaac smiled faintly. "None of us are anymore." Jason leaned forward. "We need to understand what happened to you, how you survived." Isaac studied them both. He could feel something. Between them, fear, worry, maybe even hope. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Truth," Claire replied. "And maybe help." Burberry the lab later that night, Isaac followed them to a hidden lab beneath an old warehouse. The place was filled with screens, data logs, and files stacked high on tables. "This is where we work now," Jason said. Isaac looked around. "You're running from someone." "Everyone," Claire admitted. They showed him what they had found. Data showing that governments were already creating supersoldiers. They had taken volunteers, prisoners, even children, and tried to activate the ancient DNA code buried inside them. Some had failed. Many had died. Others had become something else. Isaac read through the files in silence. "They're turning people into weapons," he said finally. "Yes," Jason said, "and it's only going to get worse." The Awakened. Not all the test subjects were under control. Some had escaped. Others had gone rogue. Isaac saw reports of men and women who could tear through steel, run faster than bullets, and see in total darkness. One video showed a man jumping over a building. Another showed a woman healing a broken leg in seconds. "These aren't soldiers," Isaac said. "They're monsters." "No," Claire corrected. "They're humans, just evolved." Isaac shook his head. "If they lose control, they'll destroy everything." "Then we have to stop them," Jason said. "Or help them," Claire added. Isaac trains over the next few weeks. Isaac trained with Claire and Jason. They tested his strength, reflexes, and endurance. They scanned his brain. They took blood samples. They wanted to know what made him different. He told them about his dreams, about the memories that weren't his, about the feeling that something deep inside him was waiting to wake up. "It's not just physical," Claire said one night. "Your mind is changing too." Isaac frowned. "How?" "You're remembering things you never lived. It's like you're tapping into something older." "Like what?" "Maybe knowledge," Jason said. "Maybe instinct." Isaac didn't like the sound of that. The enemy moves back in Washington. President Elizabeth Grant sat in her office, staring at a report on her desk. It came from a secret military base in Nevada. Test subject number 47 has awakened. Vital signs elevated. Aggression level extreme. Containment failed. She rubbed her temples. How many more? She asked the general standing in front of her. Dozens, he replied. Maybe hundreds. And the ones who survive? Most can't be controlled. Grant closed the file. Find the ones who can, she said, and bring them in. Isaac meets Emmetone Knight. Claire brought in a new, Ellie Emmett Ross, a retired Navy SEAL who had gone off-grid after learning about the experiments. He was tall, scarred, and built like a wall. He didn't trust Isaac at first. You look human, Emmett said. But looks can lie. Isaac smirked. So can people. Emmett stepped closer. You ever kill someone? Isaac met his gaze. Yes. More than once? Isaac nodded. Emmett smiled slightly. Good. Then we might get along. Lila Cruz joins a week later. They met Lila Cruz, a hacker who had stolen classified files from the Pentagon. She was smart, fast, and always watching. You're playing with fire, she told them when they explained what they were doing. Then let's make sure it doesn't burn the whole world, Isaac said. Lila agreed to help. She hacked into military networks, finding more reports of awakened soldiers. Some were being hunted, others were hunting. Isaac makes a choice. One night, Isaac stood alone on the roof of the warehouse. The city lights stretched far below. He thought about what he had become, what he could become. He remembered the dream, the burning city, the war, the voices. He wasn't ready for it yet, but he knew it was coming. He turned and walked back inside. In? He said. Claire looked surprised. In what? Whatever we're doing next. The plan begins. They started small, tracking movements of government agents, helping other awakened escape, spreading the truth online. But they knew it wouldn't last. Soon, they would have to fight. And when that day came, Isaac would be ready. The storm grows in Europe. A young girl named Mia woke up screaming. Her skin glowed faintly. Her heartbeat was slow and steady. She had no memory of how she got there, only that she was different. In Africa, a soldier collapsed during training and woke up with eyes like fire. In Asia, a boy touched a broken tree branch and watched it grow back in seconds. They were all awakening, and the world was starting to notice. Isaac's past returns. One night, Isaac received a message from someone he thought was dead. His old commander, Captain Daniel Reeves. Meet me. I have answers. Isaac didn't tell Claire or Jason. He went alone. He found Reeves in an abandoned church outside the city. The man looked older, tired. You shouldn't be here, Isaac said. Reeves smiled weakly. Neither should you. What do you know about what happened to me? Reeves looked around. Everything. He handed Isaac a small drive. Watch this. Then decide if you still believe in humanity. Before Isaac could ask more, Reeves disappeared into the shadows. Isaac watches the truth back at the warehouse. Isaac plugged the drive into a computer. Claire and Jason watched as the files played. Videos, documents, recordings. They showed secret labs, test chambers, soldiers being forced into transformation, and at the center of it all was a symbol. A mark burned into the floor of each facility, a circle with 3 lines inside. Isaac stared at it. What does it mean? Claire asked. Isaac whispered the answer. War. Part 2. And Isaac stood at the edge of the rooftop again. The wind blew through his hair. Below, the world was changing. Above, the stars shined like silent watchers. Somewhere out there, the enemy was preparing. And soon, the battle would begin. Isaac stood at the edge of a rooftop watching the city below. Lights blinked like stars on the ground. People walked unaware of what was coming. He knew they wouldn't stay safe for long. He had seen the truth. The world was changing fast, and, if no one stopped it, everything would fall apart. Isaac shares the files back at the warehouse. Isaac played the videos from Reeves's drive. Claire and Jason watched in silence as the footage rolled. It showed secret labs hidden across the world. Inside them were men and women, some young, some old, being forced into experiments. Their bodies changed. Some screamed in pain. Others didn't make it. One video showed a group of soldiers attacking a test subject who had survived the change. They shot him, stabbed him, beat him. He didn't die. He fought back. And when he did, he killed them all. Isaac turned off the screen. "This isn't science," he said. "It's slavery." Claire looked sick. "We have to stop this." Jason nodded. "But how?" Isaac stood up. "We start with the ones who are still alive." Forming the team, they began reaching out to others who had gone missing or disappeared after the experiment started. First came Emmett Ross. The retired Navy SEAL had been hiding in Texas, waiting for someone to take action. Then came Lila Cruz. The hacker had been tracking government movements for weeks and had found something big, a list of test sites where children were being used in the program. "We can't wait," Lila said. "Those kids don't have time." Isaac agreed. "Then we move." They needed more help. They found it in a small town in Montana. Meeting Mayamiki and Sarah Brown lived in a quiet home near the mountains. They weren't rich. They worked hard and tried to keep their daughter Maya safe. But something had happened to her. 2 weeks ago, she woke up screaming. Her skin glowed faintly. Her eyes changed color. She could move things without touching them. The government found out. They sent agents to take her. Mike and Sarah refused. Now they were on the run. Isaac and his team found them hiding in an old barn. Mike held a shotgun. "Stay back." Isaac raised his hands. "We're not here to hurt her." Mike looked at Isaac. "You don't look like them." Isaac stepped forward. "We want to help." Mia stood behind her parents, watching Isaac carefully. She didn't speak. She just stared. Then slowly she lifted her hand. A small rock nearby floated into the air. Isaac smiled. "You're not alone." Bringing Mia in, they took Maya and her parents to the warehouse. There, Claire ran tests and scans. The girl's DNA was changing, fast. "She's not fully awakened yet," Claire said, "but she will be." Isaac looked at the child. "Can we control it?" "Maybe," Jason said, "if we teach her." Mike and Sarah didn't want to let go of their daughter, but they saw the danger. "Please," Sarah whispered. "Keep her safe," Isaac promised. "I will." The plan begins. They studied the list Lila had found. There were 7 main test sites. Most were in remote areas. Heavily guarded, their first target was a black site in Nevada. That was where the children were being tested. Isaac made the call. "We hit them first." Emmett grinned. "Finally." Lila frowned. "This is going to get messy." Isaac looked at her. "Messy is fine, as long as we win." Moving into Nevada, they traveled undercover. Isaac drove a van with fake plates. Claire and Jason wore plain clothes. Lila stayed online, hacking into security feeds and clearing their path. Emmett rode with Isaac. "You ever done anything like this before?" Isaac shook his head. "Not exactly." Emmett laughed. "Good. Keeps it interesting." They reached the outskirts of the site 2 days later. It was surrounded by high fences and armed guards. Cameras moved like snakes on walls. Lila hacked the system and disabled half the cameras. The rest they avoided. They waited until nightfall. Breaking in, Isaac led the way. He moved silently through the shadows. Emmett followed close behind. They reached a side door. Lila opened it remotely. Inside, the base looked like a hospital, but colder, cleaner, more dangerous. They passed labs filled with machines. One room had screens showing brain scans of children. Isaac clenched his fists. They're studying them, Claire whispered. Like lab rats, Emmett growled. They kept moving. Finding the children, they found the cells in the basement. Rows of small rooms. Each had a child inside. Most were asleep. Some sat quietly. Others cried. Isaac broke open the first lock. The boy inside looked scared. "We're here to help," Isaac said gently. The boy nodded slowly. One by one, they freed them. Claire checked each child for injuries. Some had bruises, others had scars. None spoke much. They were broken, but not beyond saving. Alarms go off. Halfway through freeing the children, the alarm sounded. "We've been made," Lila shouted over comms. Isaac cursed. "Move faster." Emmett grabbed a rifle from a fallen guard and started covering. "The exit! Get them out!" he yelled. Isaac and Claire helped the last few children to their feet. "Come on," Isaac said. "We're getting you out." Escape. They ran through the halls. Bullets cracked against walls. Isaac took a hit to the shoulder but kept going. Outside, the van waited. They loaded the children quickly. Isaac jumped in last. "Drive," he shouted. The van sped away as gunfire chased them. First returning home, they made it back to the warehouse with all the children. None were hurt badly. Most were just tired and scared. Mike and Sarah helped care for them. Mia stayed close to the younger ones, holding their hands. Isaac sat outside, bandaging his shoulder. Claire joined him. "You saved them." Isaac didn't. Smile. "We only saved a few. There are hundreds more." Claire looked at the sky. "We'll save them too." Isaac wasn't sure, but he wanted to believe her. Isaac meets the enemy later that night. Isaac got a message. "Meet me. I know what you're looking for." He didn't recognize the number, but he went anyway. He met the man in an empty parking lot. It was dark. Rain fell lightly. The man stepped forward. He wore a black coat. His face was covered by a hood. Isaac recognized him instantly. "Reeves," Isaac said. His old commander smiled. "You're learning fast. Why are you helping me?" "Because I was part of it once," Reeves said. "Before I saw what they were doing." Isaac narrowed his eyes. "What do you want now?" Reeves handed him another drive. "Answers." Isaac took it. "Be careful," Reeves warned. "They're watching you." Then he disappeared into the night. Isaac watches the new files back at the warehouse. Isaac plugged in the drive. Videos, documents, reports. This time, it showed something worse than the labs. It showed the future. Plans for mass production of Supersoldiers. Projects to wipe out anyone who couldn't be controlled. And a final file labeled Phase 3, Global Takeover. Isaac closed his eyes. "This isn't about war anymore," he whispered. "This is about control." Claire looked at the screen. "We have to stop this." Isaac stood up. "Then we fight." Building the resistance over the next few weeks, Isaac's team grew. They found more awakened people. Some had escaped. Others had been hiding. They trained together, learned to control their powers. They built a network, spread the truth online, and they started planning bigger attacks, not just to save lives, but to stop the war before it began. Isaac finds hope one night. Isaac sat with Mia outside. She was drawing pictures in the dirt. He asked, "Do you know what you can do?" She nodded. "Mom says I'm special." Isaac smiled. "You are." She looked up. "Will I be like you?" Isaac thought for a moment. "No," he said. "You'll be better." Micah smiled. Isaac looked at the stars again. For the first time since he woke up in Germany, he felt something he hadn't in a long time. Hope. Part 3. Ends in the distance. Thunder rolled. The storm was coming and Isaac and his team were ready. They were no longer just survivors. They were the resistance. and they would not let the world fall. Isaac sat alone in the dark, staring at the glowing screen in front of him. The files from Reeves's second drive had changed everything. This wasn't just about humans trying to build soldiers. It was about something much older. Something that came before us. The message the file labeled Phase 3 Global Takeover had more than just plans. It had data. Old data. Some of it went back decades, some even centuries. One folder caught Isaac's eye. It was labeled Operation Starlight. He opened it. Inside were reports from a secret U.S. military base in Alaska, dated back to the Cold War. They talked about a signal, a repeating pattern picked up by deep space antennas. It wasn't random. It was a message. Isaac read the summary. Received from unknown origin. Repeats every 11 years. Matches no known human language, appears mathematical. Below it was a line underlined twice. We believe it was sent by something intelligent. Isaac leaned back. His heart beat faster. Someone had known about this. Long before he was born. Claire finds more Claire joined him a few minutes later. She had been going through other files, one stolen from a forgotten Russian lab. You're not going to like this, she said, handing Isaac a tablet. On the screen was a photo of an object buried in ice. It looked metallic, broken, ancient. Next, to it was a report. Found near Antarctica. Carbon dating places it at over 12,000 years old. DNA traces found on surface, human-like, but altered. Isaac stared at the image. This can't be real, he whispered. Claire nodded. It is. She pointed at another line in the file. Message inside suggests genetic seeding, purpose unknown. Isaac felt a chill run down his spine. They didn't just send a message, he said slowly. They sent something else. Claire met his eyes. What? Instructions. Isaac tells the team later that night. Isaac called everyone together. Emmett, Lila, Jason, and even the younger awakened kids were there. He played the video, files, showed them the photos, told them what he and Claire had found. When he finished, there was silence. Then Lila spoke. So you're saying we were built? Not built, Jason corrected. Modified. Emmett crossed his arms. By who? No one answered because no one knew. The symbol returns Lila brought up another file. It was from a hidden military archive. It showed a list of all known test sites. At the top of each page was a symbol. Isaac recognized it immediately. Circle with 3 lines inside. He had seen it before in the dreams. In the labs. In the videos. This isn't just a symbol, he said. It's a warning. Claire frowned. What do you mean? Isaac stood up. I've seen it before I ever saw it. In my head. In my dreams. It's part of me. Jason looked at him carefully. Do you think it's connected to the DNA code? Isaac nodded. Yes. And I think it means something bad is coming. While Isaac meets Reeves again 2 nights later, Isaac got another message. Come alone. He didn't tell anyone. He just left. He met Reeves in a ruined church outside Denver. The man looked tired, older. You found it, Reeves said. Isaac handed him the tablet. What is it? Reeves studied the files for a long time. Then he sighed. This is what I was trying to stop, he said. Isaac stepped closer. Tell me the truth. Who are they? Reeves looked up. Not who. What? Isaac waited. Reeves continued. They're not from here. They never were. Thousands of years ago they came close to Earth. They didn't land. They watched. And they made a choice. What choice? Isaac asked. To prepare us. Isaac shook his head. Prepare us for what? Reeves stared at him. For them. Sorcerer. The storm in space back at the warehouse, Claire and Jason worked nonstop. They found satellite data from observatories across the world. Something was coming. A large object. Moving fast. It had entered the solar system weeks ago, but no one had noticed. Until now. "It's not natural," Jason said. "It's shaped like a ship." Claire stared at the screen. "If it's heading toward Earth." Isaac walked in. He had heard everything. "Then we need to be ready," he finished. The awakened Trainazak gathered the others. The awakened. The kids. The ones who had survived the experiments. They trained hard, learned how to control their powers, how to fight, how to protect each other. Mike and Sarah helped teach the children. Mia stayed close to them, helping where she could. She was growing stronger, and she was starting to remember things too. Things from before. Isaac learns more one night. Isaac dreamed again. He saw fire, war, sky burning red. But this time, he wasn't alone. He stood with others, people like him, people who had awakened. They fought side by side against something huge, something evil, and they won. He woke up sweating. Claire was beside him. "What did you see?" Isaac looked at her. "Hope." The government moves in Washington. President Grant received a new report. Unknown object entering inner solar system. Speed increasing. Trajectory aimed at Earth. Her hands trembled as she read it. "How long?" she asked. An advisor replied, 6 weeks. Grant closed her eyes. "Find Isaac Garcia," she ordered. "Bring him in. Or Isaac gets captured." 3 days later, Isaac was taken. He had gone into town to get supplies. Someone followed him. He barely had time to react before they hit him with a dart. He woke up in a cold room. Metal walls. Bright lights. A voice came over the speaker. "Welcome back, soldier." Isaac tried to move. His wrists were locked. He looked around. He was in a test chamber, again. Isaac escaped. She waited, listened, watched. After hours of silence, a guard entered. Isaac moved fast. He broke free, knocked out the guard, took his gun. He ran through the halls following signs to the exit. Alarms blared. Guards chased him. Bullets flew. But Isaac was faster, stronger. He reached the roof. A helicopter hovered above. He jumped, grabbed the landing, gear, and held on. Isaac returned. She made it back to the warehouse 2 days later. Beat up, bruised, but alive. Claire patched him up. Jason gave him water. Isaac looked at the team. "They know what we found," he said. "And they're afraid." Emmett grinned. "Good." Isaac stood up. "Then we make sure they're right to be afraid." The final message. Lila found one last file hidden deep in a military server. It was short, just one line. "When the storm comes, only the awakened will stand." Isaac read it again, then he turned to the others. "We don't have 6 weeks," he said. "Why not?" Claire asked. Isaac looked at the sky. "Because the storm is already here." Part 4. Ends far away, in the cold black of space. The object kept moving, closer, faster. And soon, it would reach us. But this time, humanity wouldn't be helpless. We were no longer just people. We were the awakened, and we were ready. Isaac stood at the edge of a broken rooftop looking out over the city. Smoke rose from distant buildings. Alarms wailed through the streets. People ran in fear, not knowing what was happening. He knew. The war had begun, not just between humans, but with something far worse. Isaac prepares. Back at the warehouse, the team gathered around a large table covered in maps, weapons, and data screens. Claire sat with Jason, going over satellite readings. "It's moving faster," she said. "It'll reach orbit in less than a week." Emmett checked his rifle. "Then we don't have much time." Lila hacked into government channels, trying to find more information. "They're hiding it," she muttered. "But I can see the panic, behind the scenes." Isaac looked at everyone. "We need to be ready," he said. "This isn't just about us anymore. It's about everyone. Mike and Sarah were there too, helping to protect the children. Mia sat quietly beside them, eyes glowing faintly. She had changed more in the last few days. Stronger, smarter. Like the others, they were all awakening, and they were all afraid. The President acts in Washington. President Elizabeth Grant sat alone in her office. Reports flooded in from across the world. Strange weather patterns, military satellites failing, deep space radars picking up movement. Something was coming. She picked up the phone. "Get me General Hart," she ordered. Minutes later, the general entered. "Madam President," he said. Grant didn't waste time. "I want every awakened subject we've found brought in now." Hart frowned. "You mean the ones who escaped?" "Yes," she said. "Before it's too late." Hart hesitated. "Some of them are dangerous." Grant met his gaze. "So am I." Isaac gets hunted. 2 nights later, Isaac was walking through an empty street when he felt it. Someone was watching him. He turned quickly but saw nothing. Then a voice came through his earpiece. "Isaac," Lila whispered. "You're being followed." He kept walking, hands in his pockets. "How? Many?" he asked. "At least 6, maybe more." Isaac slowed his pace. "They want me alive." "Probably," Lila said, "but I wouldn't bet on it." He ducked into an alley and moved fast. Boots hit wet pavement. Breath came steady. Then the first shot rang out. He dodged, rolling behind a dumpster. Bullets tore through the air. He pulled out a small device Claire had given him, a signal jammer. He activated it. Lights flickered. Drones fell silent. He moved again. Isaac escaped. She reached a rooftop and jumped across 2 buildings. His body moved with unnatural ease. Below, soldiers gave chase. One climbed after him. Isaac grabbed the man by the arm and threw him back, down. He landed hard. Isaac didn't stop. He kept running. Finally, he reached the safe zone. A van waited. Emmett opened the door. "Took you long enough," he said. Isaac jumped in. "Drive," he said. The van sped off. The team regroups back. At the warehouse, they locked the doors and set up defenses. Claire patched up Isaac's arm where he had been grazed by a bullet. "They're getting better," she said. Isaac nodded. "They know we're real now." Jason sat nearby, staring at the screen. "They're not just hunting us," he said. "They're rounding up the others." Claire looked at him. "What do you mean?" He pointed at a map. Red dots marked locations across the country. Test sites, labs, prisons. Isaac stood up. "They're capturing the awakened." Emmett cracked his knuckles. "Then we break them out." Raiding the prison, their first target was a high-security prison in Texas. Reports showed that dozens of awakened were being held there. They planned carefully. Lila hacked into the security system. Emmett led the ground team. Isaac went in alone. He moved through shadows, past guards, avoiding cameras. He reached the holding cells. Inside were men and women, some young, some old, locked away. They looked up when they saw him. He smiled. Time to go. Freeing the prisoners, alarms blared. Guards rushed in. Isaac fought fast. He punched through walls, knocked out soldiers, broke locks. One by one, the awakened stepped free. Some could barely stand. Others looked angry. One woman stared at Isaac. "Who are you?" she asked. Isaac looked at her. "Someone who won't let you rot in here." She nodded slowly. Then she smiled. "Good." Isaac meets new allies. Among the freed prisoners was a man named Daniel Cruz, Lila's older brother. He had been missing. For years, when he saw her, he froze. "Lila," he whispered. She ran to him. "You're alive," she said. He hugged her tightly. "I thought I'd never see you again." Isaac watched them for a moment. Then he turned to the others. "You're free now," he said, "but this fight isn't over. Daniel stepped forward. Then tell me what we do next. The world burns as Isaac's team grew, so did the chaos outside. Cities reported strange events, buildings collapsing without warning, planes falling from the sky, animals acting strangely. In Russia, a military base exploded without explanation. In China, thousands of birds flew south in a straight line as if fleeing something unseen. In Africa, a river dried overnight. Isaac knew what it meant. The object in space wasn't just approaching, it was preparing. Isaac faces the enemy weeks past. The government launched a full-scale operation to capture or kill all awakened subjects. They called it Operation Clean Sweep. Isaac and his team were forced to move constantly. Then one night, Isaac received a message. "Come alone, we need to talk." It was signed by President Grant. Isaac didn't trust her, but he went anyway. Isaac meets the president in a secret bunker beneath the White House. Isaac stood face to face with the leader of the free world. Grant studied him carefully. "You're not what I expected," she said. Isaac crossed his arms. "What did you expect?" "A monster." Isaac smirked. "I've seen monsters. I'm not one of them." Grant walked closer. "Do you know what's coming?" she asked. Isaac nodded. "Yes." "Then help us." Isaac shook his head. "No." Grant frowned. "Why not?" Isaac looked her in the eye. "Because you tried to control us," he said. "You tried to turn us into weapons." Grant didn't. "Deny it," Isaac continued. "If you want my help, you give me freedom, protection, and the truth." Grant was quiet for a long time. Then she nodded. "Done. Wheelrower." Isaac makes peace. After that meeting, everything changed. The government stopped hunting the awakened. Instead, they started training them, helping them, preparing them. Isaac didn't trust the government completely, but he trusted the people, and he knew they needed to stand together. The storm arrived 6 days later. The object reached Earth. It hovered above the planet, massive and silent. No communication. No demands, just presence. Isaac stood on the roof of the warehouse, looking up. Claire joined him. "You think it knows we're awake?" she asked. Isaac nodded. "Yes." "Then what happens now?" Isaac looked at the sky. "Now," he said, "we show them what we've become." Part 5 ends in the cold silence of space. The object watched, waiting, judging, and soon it would decide. But this time humanity would not run. We would rise, we would fight, and we would survive. Isaac stood on top of a broken building looking up at the sky. The object hovered above Earth like a silent giant. It hadn't landed. It hadn't attacked, but it was watching, waiting. And Isaac knew what that meant. They had been judged. Now, they would prove themselves. Isaac gathers the awakened. In the days before contact, Isaac traveled across the world. He met with the awakened, those who had changed, those who had survived the labs, those who had hidden for too long. Some were scared. Others were angry. A few didn't care about humanity anymore. But Isaac spoke to them all. "We are not weapons," he told them. "We are not monsters." He looked each one in the eye. "We are the future." And slowly, they began to follow him. Claire decodes the message back at the warehouse-turned-command center. Claire worked non-stop. She studied the signal from the object in space. It wasn't random, it was a test. "They want to know if we're ready," she said to Jason. He frowned. "Ready for what?" Claire looked up from her screen. "To survive." Jason stared at her. "Then we better show them. We can." The first contact in the 7th day, the object moved. It descended through the atmosphere, slow and silent. No country fired a shot. No army tried to stop it. Everyone waited, watched, held their breath. Then, a voice came through every radio, phone, and speaker on Earth. It was not human, but everyone understood. You have awakened. Isaac stood in front of the gathered awakened, looking up. He raised his hand and answered. Yes. Shakra, the storm breaks from the belly of the object. Something emerged, not a ship, not a weapon, something alive. It fell from the sky like fire, crashing into the ocean near Australia. Waves rose like mountains, wind howled like wolves. And then it rose from the water, huge black, moving with unnatural grace. It had come to test us, and it would not leave without a fight. Isaac leads the charge. Isaac didn't wait for orders. He ran toward the beast. Emmett followed. So did Lila, Daniel, and the others. They were not soldiers. They were not machines. They were humans. Changed, awakened, and ready. Battle begins. The beast struck first. Its limbs sliced through buildings. Its roar shook the ground. But the awakened fought back. Mike and Sarah protected the children. Maya lifted a car with her mind and threw it like a stone. Isaac leapt into the air. Landing on the beast's back, he punched through its armor. Blood like fire spilled onto the ground. The beast screamed, and so did the world. Isaac remembers as he fought. Isaac saw flashes, memories not his own. War, destruction, a time when this enemy had come before and humans had failed. But now they were different, stronger, smarter, brave. The awakened unite. One by one, the awakened joined the fight. They flew, they ran, they tore through the beast like it was nothing. Lila hacked into its systems, slowing it down. Daniel led a group of fighters through its weak points. Emmett took out its legs with a single blast, and Claire, watching from the command center, found the final weakness. Isaac, she shouted through comms, hit the core. Isaac heard her. He dove deep, struck hard, and broke it. The beast falls with a final scream. The beast collapsed. Its body cracked open, light poured out, then silence, just silence, and the sound of wind, and the breathing of the survivors. Isaac stood covered in blood and ash. He looked around. His team was alive. The people were safe, and the object in the sky watched. Then it spoke again. You are worthy. And just like that, it left. Flew back into space. Gone. The world rebuilds. In the weeks after the battle, the world changed. Governments stopped hiding the truth. They helped the awakened instead of hunting them. Schools taught new science. Hospitals learned new medicine. And people began to understand this was not the end. This was the beginning. Isaac meets Maya own night. Isaac sat beside Mia as she drew in the dirt. She looked up at him. Did we win? She asked. Isaac smiled. Yes. Was it worth it? Isaac thought for a long time. I don't know, he said. But I think we'll find out. Micah nodded. Then she reached out and touched his hand. You're not alone, she whispered. Isaac looked at her. And for the first time in a long time, he believed her. Isaac looks to the star weeks past. Life returned to normal, for some. But Isaac knew better. The universe was still out there, watching, waiting. And maybe one day it would return. But next time, we would be ready. He stood on the rooftop, looking at the stars. Far away, a light blinked, like an eye. Opening, Isaac smiled. Let them come. Bottom Word Part 6. Humans were never meant to be weak. We were never meant to be controlled. We were made for something more. And now, we had become it. We were the awakened, we were the future, and we would never fall again.